back at it again. And of course, the last video, I put HID LED light in here, so hopefully it's a little brighter. Oh, I just bored again. Fucking kids going crazy down there. Wife woke up, so I'm just like, yeah, I'm tired too. Yeah. So I'm just like, you know what? I'll just go to sleep with the camera on. I really could. Yeah, I knew the last video was ending soon, and of course, I just wanted to get done and shut off myself for once, but right in the middle of talking about how people, you know, basically are usually fake online or not entirely themselves or trying to be somebody else or acting like unnaturally, just acting different than they would. Yeah, basically just acting different than they would when they're not on the internet. That's one thing that's one thing I absolutely despise about the internet and people on there. Because it leaves that door wide open for everybody and anybody to be a prick. I never am, though. I never bother anybody on there. I ain't got no reason to. But then again, I don't frickin'... I'm actually not that sociable, or I'm not that social online. Probably pretty much because of that, because I can't stand putting up with that shit, somebody trash talking or trolling, or just being a freaking piece of shit because they're online, because I can't reach through the screen and choke the shit out of them or punch them right in the mouth. Most of the time most of the time it's probably some pathetic piece of shit who does it just to make themselves feel better because their self-esteem is gone to shit. I was watching one video about that. One guy was like freaking 500 pounds. And he was freaking always just basically online trolling and bullying people and talking shit and everything else just to make himself feel better. I don't know. I don't comprehend that shit. I mean, I act online the same way I do anywhere else, anywhere. Just some simple thing, just say it's the thing with Christianity. I basically, a lot of the things I incorporated them into what and who I am. So as far as like do unto others as you would want done unto you, yeah, simple as that. I mean, if you don't want people freaking treating you like shit or bullying you or anything at all, you don't do it to others. But then when somebody does it to you for no reason, it's just like, what the fuck? What the hell's wrong with this person? Oh. But whatever, that's where I left off the last video. Excuse me, I am freaking beat. Actually, I went to bed. I have probably about 7 or 8 hours of sleep. Let's see. That. Just trying to think. Jeez. Yeah, let's see. Things I was talking about, other than that stupid shit on about people online. Yeah, it was. That thing was about Jill over my brother's house. So yeah, that went to pot. And yeah, I wasn't living over there at the time. I was still down in my Gram's house. And my mom, it was me, my Gram, my mom, my sister. And I remember having my Gram buy me my first computer. I would still have the specs, like the specs from the specs were on a big sticker, probably about the size of my hand, like that. I put them on the side of a cedar chest, and I still had it, but it's back. Oh. No, it's later on, but that's long gone. I remember the thing cost like $2 freaking grand, and it's crazy how much technology's gone ahead. This damn phone, this little ass phone that costs $500. I don't want my freaking camera on. This little Android Max 2 costs $500. This thing is, I mean, I don't have the old specs, so I can't compare them, but this thing's like 10 times faster, more storage and everything, in every way, than my first $2,000 computer. That was back in 2000. Yeah, 2000. I got it from Sears. I remember my freaking nephew. He would, I bought more RAM for it and shit like that. Playing that dial-up AOL. I hate that sound. I got lucky at my Gram's house because my mom actually got a separate phone line for her upstairs bedroom. But then she just pretty much slept there. She stayed sleeping downstairs on a freaking recliner. So I used that separate phone line for the computer all the time. I remember with my nephew. I remember the processor. He thought it was a fucking video card, and he convinced me it was a video card too. This is back when the processors, I don't know if some of them still do nowadays, they had all the little needles sticking out, and you gotta put it in specifically one way. And I remember James gave me his old computer. Well, I bought it off my man, I never paid him. I forget what the hell happened. I thought it was a video card. I was trying to take his out and put it in mine. It wouldn't fit. I ended up breaking one of the little pins on his. That sucked because I could have had 2 computers. It's actually funny. Over time, acting childish, fucking, it wouldn't work, or I don't know, just hitting it and accidentally dumping freaking, liquid in there, soda or iced tea or something, all over the freaking motherboard, everything. I mean, the thing was so beat to shit. For it to work, it had to be laying on its side with the top open. Or I think I broke the side cover that you pull off to see everything. Yeah, pretty much the only way to work it was to be laying on its side. Or buying video cards for that, not upgrading and not knowing what the hell I was even buying. It's just funny looking back at it now, because now I could build a computer with my eyes closed. But so I burnt going on there, and that's when I started meeting people online, girls and shit like that. I remember I met this one girl. I'm not gonna use I'm not gonna use names. I was working at Sears warehouse on 3rd shift, and she lived pretty much 5 minutes down the road from it. I forget. I know we started talking online, AOL, Instant Messenger, and shit. I forget how the hell she contacted me or something like that. And I remember I'd get out of work, drive by her house, Trans Am, fucking beep the horn early morning, like freaking 6:30. Well, she told me to at first. And I remember down the road, she used to look forward to that. We hit it off good. We went and actually first met in person over her friend's house. Well, you gotta blast the radio. We met over her friend's house. I remember all 3 of us just sitting there watching Friends. And we went out on the porch, I think, for a cigarette. And I think we started making out. And then the second time we hung out, she came over to my house. So I was living at my Grams, my mom, and everybody. Was it the second time? I think that was the second time. I think we ended up going all the way. I think. I can't remember clearly. Yeah, we did. Me and her were always like freaking rabbits. Ugh. Well, no, we hit it off pretty good. One thing should have put a fucking big red light in my face, though. She got pregnant at 15. I think she had him when she was 16. Because what was I, 19? And she was just about to turn 18 when we first started hanging out. Something like that. I remember the first night she came over. On the drive back to her house, somehow her phone, she called her mom with her phone and her purse. And it was left on for I don't know how long. That's all she told me. I remember that. What the hell she heard, if anything. The first night over there, out in her garage that was made up into a bar. She had a projector and a big screen for movies. The first movie we watched was some fucking was it Romeo and Juliet? With Leonardo DiCaprio when they fucking, like, the whole movie is nothing but freaking poetry, rhyming and shit like that. Like every single dialogue or whatever, every single word they say, nothing but poetry and rhyming and all that shit. Those are good times at first. Yeah, she was definitely my first love. I fell fucking deep, freaking fell hard. Really hard. And yeah, we used to have sex on her freaking out in her garage, and on this she'd be sitting on the stool and shit like that, and we'd lock the door and be all sneaky and all that shit on her mom's bed. I remember I moved over my brother's house. I think it was, yeah, it was when we moved over there, and she'd get dropped off. We would literally just have sex for freaking hours, just the whole freaking evening. Till it was time to for her to get picked up. We were on the 3rd floor, and my brother, he was all the way in the basement watching TV, and he complained after she left. He's like, "What the fuck, man? I can hear you all the way down in the basement." Oh, that was funny. Actually, I remember last time I seen a picture of myself back then. Actually, I think we took a picture of me and her in the kitchen and me alone. I don't know when last time I seen those pictures were, but man, I was fucking skin and bones. I mean, I literally weighed, I was 6'2". I always weighed around $185, give or take 5 pounds. And it doesn't matter what I ate. I could eat like a horse, and I wouldn't gain a fucking pound. Couldn't put on any more freaking muscle. I mean, I was already freaking, not muscular, I was just very athletic build from working at the thrift store and a Sears warehouse and shit. Very physical jobs. I just remember seeing that picture. I forget when the hell. I don't know when the hell last time I seen it. It was about late 20s, I think. It was after I put weight on from working up St. Mike's, sitting on my ass, pretty much looking down the hallway and watching TV all night, babysitting Philly kids. I mean, if all you do is sit on your ass every night, you're going to be snacking, you're going to be eating, you're not going to be burning it off. I started and I was still around 185. By the time I quit, I was up to 290 pounds, somewhere around there. 290, 300. Now, which I actually burned off freaking like 30, 40 pounds in the first 3 months with the post office. Now I'm around 260, 270. It fluctuates. A lot of muscle weight though, especially my legs. I ain't got an ounce of fat on my legs. It's all all my fat's in my freaking belly now. I can't get rid of that. Well, I could if I freaking did sit-ups and worked out, but you walk 11 miles 5 days a week and see if you feel like doing any more working out when you get home. No, I just want to fucking just. That's all I want to do when I get home. I'm just exhausted. But, I remember seeing that picture and just looking at it like, holy shit, I was skinny as hell. Like, damn. Fucking daddy's boys, you know. I left them downstairs with their mother. They come up here, lock the door behind me, and they just want to come in. It's like, sorry, I don't want little kids running around, grabbing the camera, messing with the helmet, jumping on the bed while I'm trying to do this. Oh. Yeah, that was that freaking relationship. Yeah, when I got together, she had a 1-year-old boy. Oh. I remember I was rude at first. I said shit like, oh, I'm not going to be his daddy. I'm not going to be buying diapers and shit like that. That was my so-called friend's influence. That's all they kept telling me. So I really enjoy this. I forgot if I even said that, but she told me I did. I was just like, wow, like, really? Oh, for Christ's sake, they are carrying on like crazy. But yeah, we were always having sex and just being all romantic and lovey-dovey. I mean, we were just. That relationship basically was a candle burning at both ends. With somebody on both ends with a freaking blowtorch melting the candle at the same time. It was just way too much. It just burnt us out. I mean, I don't know. Nothing burnt. I know what the hell the problem was. But problems started. I remember. Oh, one thing I used to love, I'd get out of work, I'd go home, get changed, shower, and go over her house. I'd already just lay my head in her lap in her garage on the couch. She'd be sitting there playing with my hair, and I'd literally just fall asleep. They used to put me right to sleep. remember I wasn't very social back then. I was still very shy of people. Because I remember her brother, a little older than her, I think he was like a year older than me or something like that. He used to always, I got a few times I woke up, like first we were by ourselves, but I'd wake up, he'd be there with a couple of his friends, and instead of socializing, I'd just be like, well, let's go out front. Just go sit on the porch. So that's what we did a few times. Oh, I remember fucking my Trans Am. I broke my blinker arm. Because the blinker freaking, it wouldn't work. I had to manually hit it, or else it would literally just stay lit. And I got so mad one day, I hit it and I broke it. And then one day I get pulled over for it. And what's the cop point out? A little reflector. Probably, yeah, probably about the size of my middle finger. On the rear fender. Like on the side. I didn't know it was a blinker. He's like, yeah, there's a little bulb behind there. The cover. So yeah, that's what's wrong with your blinker. So now my blinker arm is just dangling by wires. I had to stick my finger in the steering column and press the freaking metal rod up and down to put the turn signal on. So after I replaced it, yeah, it was working. So I pretty much broke my fucking, I had to replace that shit, which I never did, but I would have had to replace it all because of a fucking $2 bulb burnt out. Oh, I always gotta learn the hard way. I always gotta break shit first and then learn. You know, I remember that because I was heading over her house when that happened. I remember the problem started when I hate gullible people. Her mom, her and her gram went to a freaking psychic or a card reader. Yeah, card reader. And she got her cards read. And just telling her shit. Like, one thing was that she was gonna be raped. I think I remember that was like, that's the only description it's the only thing I remember about that. And then they got talking about me and like, oh, he's never going to be successful. He's never going to be able to hold a job down for his whole life. And pretty much calling me a bum. And her mom and grandmother bought right into that shit. That's when things started going sour. Because of her mom and her grandmother's influence. Why? I was 19 years old. And they expected me to all of a sudden be a career man and take care of their fucking daughter and be a sugar daddy. I mean, they dogged me any chance they freaking could. Talked about me behind my back and shit like that. I'll never forget that. For that shit, I don't think there's any other family I hate more than them. Then First time we broke up, it was after my Trans Am was broken. I don't think it got repossessed yet. But I went and I bought a Ford, late 80s Ford Escort from down the street from her for like $400. Ran fine for the time being. I remember we went to Walmart and I got some fabric. I was gonna put seat covers on it. It was freaking, they were, whatchamacallit. I think there were those tropical frogs, all those different color frogs and shit. Like I said earlier, I lost the figurines down in Baltimore, 5th grade field trip. Covering, I think that's what it was. Yeah, we were in our living room and she was sewing, so I think she was sewing it up. We were just sitting there. And I took a pen, I was taking a pen, and I was playing around with her. I was like, I'm gonna poke you, Like, I wasn't gonna freaking stab her with a freaking pen. I was just joking around, maybe a little too much. But I didn't know, what was it? Yeah. And then the next day, which actually, when we went to Walmart, bought her son a bike too. It was actually too big for him. So the next day, I want to go over, broke up, and she explained why. It was pretty much her grandmother's influence. Her parent, at least her grandmother. Cause she was sitting there and no, they didn't like, oh, you were trying to stab her. You were trying to stab her with a pen. What's wrong? Yeah, I remember what she was saying. What's wrong with you? What kind of person does that? It's like, did I stab her? No. It was a joke. I'm gonna poke you. I'm gonna poke you. I'm gonna poke you. What's wrong with me? So we broke up. I was freaking devastated. Oh my god, I was so freaking heartbroken. It was freaking crazy. I remember. I think that's the only time I drank and drove. I was over James's house, crying my fucking eyes out, and drinking a bit. I think I was just a little buzzed. And then, I don't know if I called her or what, but I remember she broke up with me on the porch after I went and I bought Subway, and I think it was after I gave her a hoagie. It's like, really, I buy you a fucking dinner and you're gonna, do that after? That was fucking, I found that rude. At the time. Something like that, I forget. Or something to do with hoagies. But, I remember I went over there and we were in the living room again. And I'm freaking buzzing. I'm sitting there pretty much just begging like a fucking dog. And her fucking grandmother and her mother sitting right fucking there. That didn't go anywhere. So, she's asking, are you drunk? Yeah, I was a little bit. Because I think that was the only time I ever drove when I had any alcohol. Only time. Yeah, and I forget how long later, I guess she convinced her grandmother, her mother and her grandmother to let us get back together. I think it was her grandmother that convinced her to break up with me at the time. That was fucked up. I hate people like that. It's like, dude, you got a mind of your own, a life of your own. You can't live your own fucking life, then you're not living at all. But I remember she called me up. I went over there. And of course, me, her, and her grandmother sat down having a talk. That's when she said it again. Oh, you can't be doing stuff like that with the pen. That's not right, and this and that. Talking like I was fucking mental. She was a fucking joke. Maybe I took it a little too far, but I never freaking poked her with a freaking pin. Not once, that's why I kept doing it. Yeah, we got back together. I remember I was freaking not really controlling to a point. I remember I was just a little overboard. I'd have her freaking call me like every 2.5 hours or some shit like that. And tell me where she, if she was going out or shit like that. And like I said, it was just too much. Yeah, it was my first serious relationship, so I mean, it was bound to be shit, or things were bound to, or mistakes were bound to be made and learned from, and all that shit. And we broke up again. I forget why. We broke up freaking I don't know how many times. But Christ, those kids. Oh. But then she was only 18. And she met somebody else online. This fucking dork. I remember I looked up his freaking profile. Ugly son of a bitch, too. A goofy looking fucker. And I remember he was obsessed with the Matrix. His name, it was just name on there was like the One and just shit like that. It's like, even back then, I was like, what the fuck? But the thing was, he was 30 years old. She was 18, he was 30. I remember they didn't stay together, and we got back together sometime later. I remember one thing she told me. Oh, I did everything with him. Those exact words. I never really, I was wondering what the fuck she said that for. But I always found that fucking disgusting as hell. A 30-year-old with an 18-year-old. That's fucking nasty. 18-year-old's still pretty much a child. I'm 35 now. And, anybody younger and they're like anybody around 18 could try to disagree with me. Oh, that's disgusting. 12 freaking years different. I mean, there's a difference. They just simply met up on the internet and hooked up. I mean, if two people naturally find each other, naturally fall in love, who gives a shit about the age? I mean, I'll still find it like just a little disturbing to me personally, but who gives a shit? But I mean, you know, you don't know shit about this person. Like, say you're the 18-year-old, you don't know shit about this person. You know they're 30 years old, and you're gonna still go jump into that? No. Just like Adam Sandler said, well, even then, loose skin, old balls, gross. That's funny. That comes to mind every time I think of something like that. But it was always her mom and her gram getting in the way of our relationship. Pretty much. You know, they're obsessed with me having a fucking good job, and it was off and on between 19 and 22. But the one time we broke up, again, she was really meeting people on off the internet. I mean, really meeting people. And I was doing the same while she was doing that. If I've ever met up with this one girl, Mandy. We hung out. Yeah, we got into a little short relationship. We're more along the lines of just good friends. And the same thing with next one, Lori. I mean, we'd go out and, I don't think we were ever in a relationship. I mean, we went out on dates, we'd make out and shit, but I think she said she was still a virgin. Which is funny, she went and freaking lost that to some scumbag afterwards. We didn't have sex while we were together. We actually had sex later on down the road. We were both drunk after going bowling. But then, actually no. Yeah, I was with them. I don't know how the hell I found out, but before I was with them, Nikki. Also use for at least first names, because I mean, if I'm gonna be freaking melding freaking stories together, it's gonna get confusing. That's what her name was, Nikki. And she was, like I said, meeting too many people off the internet. And she met one guy, and as far as I know, the story, they went to Guys and Dolls, billiards. And then, apparently after, he wanted some and she wouldn't put out. But shocking. So, to be blunt, he ended up raping her. And instead of going to the police, of course he probably threatened her, I think it was too. Shit, don't tell anybody, I'll kill you, or some shit like that. I remember she told me, this has bothered me quite a bit too. Something like that happening to somebody I was with at one point. Ow. But remember she was telling me, like, yeah, and she got home and she was bleeding down there. And she just went right upstairs. She didn't tell her parents or anything at first. Her mother, her dad didn't live with her. Her parents got divorced or something like that. Her mom remarried. I never had a problem with him, though. Check the time. There we go. What, so that happened. I forget how the hell I don't know. I forget when she told me. Or how, or I know we weren't together. I just blow it that way like that because so it doesn't go into the. So don't do that. But she would talk so much shit on me. Fucking family would, shit like that. And I had, dental problems too back then, but not really bad. And just all the shit talk. I was so fucking mad. And so mad and so hurt. So I remember Mandy and Lori. And then another girl from Jersey I was good friends with, which I still talk to. I actually went down there a few times, hung out with her. I talked to all three of them about her getting raped. Like I said, I was hurt, depressed, sad, bothered, angry. So I said something I shouldn't have. I basically pretty much said, good for her. That's where she gets for acting like a whore. Something like that. So then down the road, when we get back together, me and Nikki, I remember she asked to see the profiles of the girls. She had low self-esteem or something. I don't know what the hell her problem was. I didn't think anything of it at first, when she asked who the girls were that I dated and shit. And I told her, and she looked them up. She contacted them, apparently. This is funny. So one evening, I go over. I used to always call her beautiful. She was, past tense. And so we're out in the garage watching TV. And I remember let's see. I think it was the first time I used this line, and it was perfect timing. Perfect. She asked me, something like, do you still find me beautiful? And I answered, it all depends on your actions. Something like that. I forget what the exact phrase was. I think it was that. So then she goes back in the house, and I'm just sitting there watching TV for probably about half a freaking hour. She left me just sitting out there. She comes back in. There is Lori and Mandy with her. Two girls I dated in between our breakups. It was something straight out of a soap opera. It was fucking funny as hell. I was like, what the fuck is going on? So then freaking Nikki starts on me. Basically, she freaking got information from them about what I said about her getting raped. About how I said good for her. And she got fucking mad as hell. And she was bitching, yelling at me, and then I was like, what do you expect me to say when a girl asks you, and anything about like an ex or something like that? Obviously, you're not gonna have anything good to say. And excuse me. And at the time, me being hurt, angry, and all that shit. Of course, I wasn't gonna say anything good. I shouldn't have said anything at all. But what do you expect? That's what I said. Like, what do you expect? Since she starts calling me fucking names, and then she tells the other girls what I told about them. Like Lori, I think she had like a hairy back or something like that, or she had hair somewhere. She wasn't a guy. I forget what the hell. I said something about her hair. And I looked at her. I'm like, you're not supposed to talk good about exes. And she actually agreed with me on the spot. I remember I went and tried to get my coat and leave, and freaking she grabs it and throws it across the room, and hey, it's over. Yeah, I remember that. She wanted me to come over that night so freaking badly. I knew something was up. I knew. I remember she wanted me over there. So, like, more than she's ever wanted me to come over before. Joe, you almost done yet? But yeah, she broke up with me then, and I got my coat and left. When I left, I couldn't stop laughing. It was just so fucking hilarious because it was something straight out of a soap opera. Excuse me. Like, who the hell? Bang the door. It's like, who the fuck pulls that kind of shit? But later on down the road, we got back together. Again. And then wait, no, I was with somebody else. I broke up with her. I got back with Nikki. And then I didn't give her any information on my ex that I was with. I don't know. She contacted her somehow, and she was fucking talking shit on her. Like, you wouldn't believe, she had her crying and everything. And that was it. And that was when I broke up with her for the first and last time. I was just like, no. I was like, I'm not, you know what? That's when I really seen, this girl's fucking just damaged fucking goods or just I don't know what the hell's wrong with her. There's something wrong with her. There was. No, there is. But that was it. I didn't talk to her again for probably at least another 3 or 4 years. And then she went and got her sugar daddy. She got married and had another kid. And this guy owned a garage. His family had money. And yeah, we connected on Facebook or something like that. Just friendly. I remember she got talking to me. And she was asking my advice on something. I think it was on the phone. I don't remember. I knew we were talking online to start, but I don't know if it was on the phone too. I don't think it was on the phone. But she was asking for advice for probably a half a fucking hour talking about shit. But shit she was, going through. And she was talking about one of her husband's employees at the garage. After a half an hour. Now, he was only 18. And she was, 27? By that time? Or 25? Something like that. And she's talking about, I guess I'll just finish up here since she can't handle her own kids. But she contacted me. Yeah, sorry, I got distracted. Wife banging, asking if I'm almost done. Well, she was asking advice and all that shit, and I was preaching for half an hour. And then basically saying that she didn't know if she wanted to be with her husband or this 18-year-old little punk, little kid, compared to her pretty much. I mean, obviously, mid-20s, she's obviously a woman now, and got a family, married, and all that shit. And I was like, good for her. I was just like, no, you don't want to fuck with that. I'm old-fashioned. You don't fuck with family. So finally, at the end, I didn't know it was towards the end of the conversation, but after half an hour, I'm like, wait. Wait. I'm like, did you already cheat on him? Her exact reply, oh, you know me. Or you know me. Which basically said, yeah, she did. She cheated on her husband with his employee. It was like, really? That was it. That was it. I think I either hung up on her if I was on the phone, or I freaking shut the chat off. That was the last conversation I really had with her. I mean, I talked to her down the road a few times, but that was it. She ended up getting a divorce, and she ended up getting in a relationship with a freaking, pretty much a little high school kid. But wasn't in school, but yeah. It was like, what? But yeah, in the meantime, during all that shit, I was dealing with more shit. Now I'm getting into somewhat current shit. I still got other shit to tell too, but I remember my mom, she was dating around, rather than my grams, my late teens. She met this guy, Michael. I'm not using last names. And this guy was he was the equivalent to white trash, hillbilly, redneck, worthless, scumbag piece of shit. I mean, you can't get any more white fucking trash, everything I just said, than him. He was it to a T. How old was my mother back then? In her early 50s? And he was around her age too. So you don't just say 50. He was a 50-year-old paper boy. That's what he did for a living. He had multiple freaking paper routes. And that was it. He was a fucking paper boy. Yeah, me and him always bumped heads. He was a fucking piece of shit. He fucked everything up. Then my mom ended up having him move into the house with us. And instead of keeping their back bedroom, it's like now as you walk up the steps right in front of my Gram's room, to the left is my small room, then down the hallway next to the stairs was a big back room where my mom and my sister used to sleep, but they were always on the couch after that. And they kicked me out of my room so they can have it. So now I was sleeping downstairs in the dining room, pretty much. In the you had a dining room table, you had a fucking couple, like 3 feet behind that was a big giant china cabinet, and then I had a mattress on the floor. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it was fucking pathetic. I had my computer there and shit. I mean, they're just fucked up. Yeah, fucking. I remember my oldest sister stopped coming around shit because I don't know who accused who or what. They accused him of having sex or raping my late 80-year-old grandmother. I don't know if she was 90 then or not. But he was always basically trying to be the alpha male in the house. Shove his weight around, all of a sudden he was boss. He would start with me over nothing. Absolutely nothing. I remember one time, out of nowhere, he just calls the cops on me. Out of nowhere, for no fucking reason. We used to always get in arguments, but that day, nothing. Nothing at all. No argument, no nothing, just all of a sudden the cops show up. And he called them. I was standing there and he got up in my face, screaming. He was just threatening me. I just went like this. I put my hands behind my back. I put my freaking chin out. And I just stood there. I was like, go ahead. Go ahead. Just like that. I was just like, go ahead. And, of course, the cops see this. And he was being physically aggressive, but not hands-on. Like, a third-party, spectator or audience, anybody watching would tell he was going to hit me. So what the cops do, they grabbed him, they slammed him on the cruiser, almost broke his arm, restraining him. He's bitching up a storm about me and shit like that. And they take him away in the cruiser. That was funny. I don't know what the hell his problem was. That day, I didn't do shit. He just, out of nowhere, calls the cops on me. And I remember afterwards, after he left and the one cop was sticking around to talk, I remember that fucking pig was hounding me. Like, he was asking me, general shit. My mom, too. He starts fucking, putting me down for being, 21 years old and still living with my mom. Literally busted, downright calling me pathetic for it. It's like, really? You know what? Anybody that would fucking bust your ass for staying with family is stupid, and they never had it hard. Especially in this day and age. If you had a chance to live with family or parents or anything for as long as you could, savor it. Save up as much as you can to buy your own home. Do whatever it fucking takes. It's not like the good old days where you could fucking be the only guy in the house working and have enough money to buy a car and a home and pay all the bills and all the food. Those days are over. And because I didn't have a job at the time, I think I was on unemployment. No, I didn't have a job. Yeah, shit like that, it was an everyday occurrence. And then, was I 22? Yeah, I was 22. And I got with a girl, Trista. That was a 45-minute drive away north from Plymouth, where I was living. And that was after we initially broke up and got back together after freaking Nikki was being a piece of shit to her, and I broke up with Nikki. Something like that. And I remember I was up her house. I stayed up there for 3 days. And I came home. All my shit was on the porch. Basically, my mom said, "You're out. Michael doesn't want you here." I mean, this guy had just these gigantic fucking hillbilly teeth, and half of them were fucking missing in the front. I mean, he'd be so lazy, he'd be pissing in fucking piss bottles. Hospital piss bottles in the room because he was too lazy because the bathroom was on the first floor. Because he was too lazy to come downstairs. Now, I can't really say much about that. As in my late teens, I used to open up my window and piss out my second floor window. But still, I mean, pissing in a bottle because you're too lazy to come downstairs. But, I mean, the guy was a piece of shit. Coming down the road, my mom kicked him out, or they broke up, something like that. I don't fucking know, but down the road a ways, years. Last time he was living there, my mom let him back in because she found out he was living in a fucking cave. In a cave. And he had like infections and shit like that. That's what she told me. But yeah, my mom kicked me out for a fucking scumbag. My mom that never did anything for me. Never taught me nothing. Never raised me pretty much at all. Which is actually fucked up. I've always taken care of my mother. She has epilepsy and Tic-Tac-Larue. Epilepsy, you pass out, have seizures, shit like that. Tic-Tac-Larue is something with her face. The nerve endings, I guess they die and grow back, or I don't know what the fuck it does. But basically, she said I feel like her face is on fire. And she'd be screaming bloody murder in the middle of the night, all day. Who'd be there to comfort her? Help her out? Me. Who would stay home from school to help her out and comfort her? Me. And I was just a little kid. And here she is kicking me out for her fucking scumbag hillbilly fucking husband who had like 10 or 12 other wives before her. I mean, the guy was a fucking piece of shit. And he's had more wives than I fucking had women I've slept with. What the fuck's wrong with that? There's something wrong with that scenario. Yeah, I'm not a piece of shit. So, I ended up moving in with Trista and her parents and her family. They packed my shit up. I went up there and I talked to her mom, and I'm like, she kicked me out. I got nowhere to go. I'm like, if you let me stay here, I'll, pay rent. She let me move in. Yeah, the relationship with Trista, that lasted 7 years. Ugh, that sucked. I don't know how the hell I let it go on that long. I broke up with her, I don't know how many times too. I just got sick of it. It's just her natural attitude was just negative and miserable. She just put off bad energy, bad vibes, whatever you want to call it. Messed up. I loved her family. Her entire family was great to me. Whether I ever talked to them, I haven't talked to them in years, but as long as I live, I will be always grateful for them helping me out. Helping me out more than my own family ever did. And treating me bad, and their entire family, even distant relatives that would gather for Christmas or holidays, treating me better and like family more than my own family. I'll never ever be able to repay that debt. I already thought about that shit. Like if I ever won the lottery, I'd freaking just show up and pay off their house or something like that. You know, just not really give them a handout or a reward for being nice. Just if I ever do anything like that, it'll be to help people. You know, like paying off somebody's house for them and shit like that. That frees up a lot of stress and a lot of worry and financial responsibility. That just it's a lot more than just giving money. You know. Yeah, I'll get into that next video. Even though you probably could keep going because they're quiet finally. Excuse me. I'm actually going to end this video. Hour and 20 minutes, so I got about 10 minutes left, if that. So I'm just going to end this before it shuts off. I'm getting there. I'm getting to the good stuff, or the bad shit. I'll probably talk more about that scum. Yeah, I'll talk more about that scumbag Michael. Now that I'm getting into that category, my brain will start working and start thinking about all this shit. And then I'll continue where I just left off, freaking with that shit. Yeah, there's a lot. You know, it seems like a lot in my head, but when I get talking, it really, I don't know. Let me show you how many episodes I've done. 6 episodes now. Most of them hour and a half long. It was like 12 hours worth of video. I guess that's long. Not like anybody's actually gonna sit down and watch every video for the whole duration. Like I said before, you know, you got any constructive input, leave a comment. You know, subscribe if you want to see more of these and whatnot. I mean, you got something to say, just post it up. You don't have to hit the like or dislike button. I mean, if you want to hit the like button, fine. If you want, I mean, if you dislike it, just leave a comment why. You don't need to hit dislike. Because, I mean, like I said, constructive feedback. Unless you're just an asshole. Just an online asshole, then, you know, people are going to do what they want. But, what's a neighbor? But, like I said, just leave a comment, what you think, how I can improve it for the audience that's, well, the small audience that's there so far. So, I will catch you probably Wednesday, if I got time. I have a lot to do, but my wife is off that day and I'm off, so I should have time in the afternoon. Or actually, maybe even Tuesday afternoon. I don't know. We'll see.